So, the next day, I remember waiting for the results for the head ultrasound. And I get there and the nurse is like, oh, the doctor will come by to talk to you about it. And I said, okay. But I felt so anxious. I felt so nervous. And I was just praying everything was okay. So the social worker comes by and she's like, hey, how's everything? And she's so sweet. She was so nice from the beginning. But I kind of felt something was not okay, because a few other doctors came and they're like, we're gonna have a family conference, and I feel like nothing is really good when you have those family conferences, because you sit down in a room, they take you to a room, you sit down and everybody's around. And from that moment, I just felt like a punch in my gut, like trying to prepare myself mentally for whatever was to come. But we didn't know what was going to happen. We didn't know what they were going to tell us. But I felt something was not okay. So we're sitting down and the doctor was like, okay, we did the head ultrasound. Unfortunately, Eileen has suffered a grade 4 hemorrhage. So it was an intraventricular hemorrhage. There is 4 grades to a hemorrhage. Grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. Grade 4 is the worst. So as soon as she said that, I just started crying. I couldn't stop. Like, my baby had suffered like the most severe brain bleed. So of course, I wanted to see the images, explain to me what it is, because again, I've never heard of this. So her ventricles had filled with blood, and with the brain hemorrhage, it's hard to tell what their future is going to be like. Most babies with the grade 4 end up with cerebral palsy or just challenges with their development. So at that moment, well, it wasn't at that very moment, but the doctor said, you guys need to decide what you'd like to do, because we don't know what's going to happen with her. And as parents, that is the hardest thing to hear about your baby. So I said, okay, we need time to think. Obviously, we couldn't think after the news they just gave us. My baby had suffered a brain bleed. We don't know if she had it when she was in utero or when she was out here. But that was the reason why she wasn't moving anymore. She wasn't as active. And that time that I thought, she's moving because she's a fighter. No, she was moving because her nervous system was so out of whack. She had no control over her movements and what she was doing. Damn, I should have got tissue. Sorry. But I just remember being so depressed those first few weeks. And it was hard because I was so happy, for them to be fighting. And Eliana was doing good, and she was still fighting her own battle. But at that moment, I was so drawn and felt so attached to Eileen, because I didn't know if I was going to lose her the next day, or in a week, or in a month. So we were told to decide whether we wanted to continue with care for her or withdraw care. And with continuing care, you get to modify if you want her to be a limited code, full code. And we would decide if we wanted to, take her off of life support. So it was hard because I felt like, who are we to make those decisions in life? Of course, we're her parents, but who was I? I felt like I was nobody to make a decision about her like that. But I also was thinking about the quality of life and, what growing up would be like. And is she suffering, like just so many questions and thoughts came to my mind, but we just didn't know. We were so lost. Me and Elisa were so lost. And like, we were leaning on each other so much to get through those days. And I think not a lot of people knew, but nobody understood unless you've gone through something similar. And I remember going to like Instagram or social media and looking for parents with kids that have gone through it, just so I can have an idea, like, what would I be dealing with? What if she could fight? So I remember telling the doctors, we're gonna wait and see what she can show us. She'll let us know if it's her time. I'm not gonna decide to pull the plug on my daughter. But when and if the time comes, she will let us know what she could do and what she can't. So they said, okay, as doctors and as nurses, their job is to, go through with your wishes. And if it was to keep her alive and just keep treating, that's what they were going to do. So that's what we decided. And we were so freaking scared. We were so scared. We were like, what's going to happen? I was trying to educate myself, do all the research I could on brain bleeds, and I was scared for my freaking life. So I remember getting her off of the vent and trialing her on the bubble CPAP like her sister. And I remember she was on it for a few days and she had to get intubated again. And at that moment, I was just, it was so hard to even explain, like, what are we going to do? What is the next day going to even look like for us? But we just knew, like, we had to be strong for them, especially for Eileen, because she had such a hard time. Little by little, as the time went by, she went to the bubble CPAP. And then Eliana, she started breathing on her own. She was doing great. Eileen had a harder time, but eventually she was on the bubble CPAP. Same as her sister, how her sister started. And then they would still trial her to breathe on her own, and she just couldn't. Then they did the high flow, which is, a step lower. She'll have the more pressure, but through the nasal cannula. And she was on that for a while. And thank God now she's breathing on her own. And it took her a long time, but it's her time. And we're learning to understand that, even though they're twins, they have their own journey. And we're so proud of both. Eliana's going through her battle. Eileen's going through hers. But she's shown so much progress. So much. Like, she recently just started bottle feeding. And we're just so proud that we're even there. Because, we don't know what to expect. Everything we have to take in a day at a time and see, is she going to eat? What are the options if she's not? Is she going to breathe? What are the options if she can't? So everything, we're learning to be patient with her and just see what she can do for us. And right now, thank God, they're both breathing on their own. They're eating, and we're just waiting for the day for them to come home. She's still eating at a slower pace than sister, but she's eating. And they're going to give her time before they can decide if she will be able to come home taking her full feeds or if she'll need a feeding tube. And we just have to, have an open mind and see what she can do and the steps we can take to guide her and help her. Because they were born so young, they're already 3 months old, but since they were born so young, they're gonna have to go through the therapies. They're gonna have to go through physical therapy, speech therapy, because they're not your typical 3-year-olds. They were born literally like at 25 weeks. So they have a lot of time and like room to grow, but it will happen when they're ready. And me and Eliseo, we talked about it, and it's great that we're on the same page and we are both aware that it's gonna take a lot of work. But I love my babies. Like, my daughters mean everything to me, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes. And like I said, a day at a time is what we're doing. Like, we can take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 3 steps back, but we're here, and that's all that matters. So anybody that has been following through our journey and been here for us, whether it's a text, a call, anything, we appreciate it so much, because it's been really hard for us, and it has taken us forever to get to where we are now, and we're not done. Like, we still have a long way to go, but I'm in a better headspace, and my girls are doing so good, and I'm just so proud of them. I'm so proud of them, and I decided to share my story to not feel closed off anymore. So many people go through things. So many people go through, labor stories similar, if not worse, than mine. And I just wanted to put this out there to give you guys hope. Like, don't lose hope, because babies are so resilient and they're so strong. And I remember just getting the news and just like wanting to find out or connect with somebody that has gone through something similar, and everybody's stories are so different. There's not one story that's the same, so it was hard to find the support. But once I did, it was like, okay, we're gonna get through this, and we have to fight, and we're still fighting. So with that being said, it was pretty long sharing this story. But thank you guys for listening. And, like I said, we're 100 days in the NICU, and my girls are kicking butt. And, it's not over. They're big and chunky, as you guys have seen in pictures. Eliana is now 7 pounds. Eileen is 5 pounds, and I believe it's 10 ounces. These girls are just showing out for everybody, and they have proved so much to me, and they've honestly given me all the strength to keep going, because I don't know how I would have done this without a good support system. Sorry, but I'm starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I can't wait for the day for them to come home. And once they do, I can't wait to share it with you guys. So thank you for listening, and please, if there's any questions, reach out. I don't mind sharing my story, and hopefully this can reach someone that can help, if they're going through something similar or just having a hard time, to don't lose hope. Just keep fighting, because these babies will show you that they are stronger than what you think. So thank you guys for watching, and I'm sorry if I didn't make sense in some things, but I tried my best to explain it to you guys. But yeah, till next time. Bye.